Prince Andrew, once a celebrated royal, decorated Navy officer and the so-called Playboy Prince of Britain, now stripped of every royal title, evicted from his mansion, and cast out by his own family. And just when you thought the scandal couldn't get worse, a royal historian has dropped a bomb that sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. Andrew Lownie, one of the UK's most respected royal historians, has made explosive claims in a new Daily Mail podcast. He says that during a taxpayer-funded trip to Thailand, Prince Andrew had 40 prostitutes brought to his 5-star hotel in just 4 days. 40. Let that sink in. According to Lownie, this wasn't some drunken bachelor trip. This was during Andrew's official role as Britain's trade envoy, a government position meant to promote British business overseas. Instead, it became a front for personal indulgence. Lownie claims Andrew used the job to chase women, strike private business deals, and treat himself to luxury travel, all on the taxpayer's dime. The historian told host Sarah Vine that even back in 2001, Prince Charles, now King Charles III, had warned against giving his younger brother the position. He said Andrew would only chase women and play golf. But those warnings were ignored. Then Prime Minister Tony Blair and political heavyweight Peter Mandelson reportedly overruled the objections. They wanted a royal face representing British trade. And they got one, just not the kind they expected. Once appointed, Andrew took full advantage. Lownie says that during trips around the world, the prince demanded luxury hotels, first-class flights, and private dining, refusing to stay in embassies or use public resources. He was living like a king on public money. And then came Thailand. During that trip, Lownie alleges that diplomats, businessmen, and other intermediaries arranged for 40 women to be brought to Andrew's hotel suite over a 4-day period. Some of them, he claims, were sex workers recruited locally. Others were reportedly brought from nearby regions, all under the radar. He says multiple sources confirmed the story, including a Reuters journalist and even a member of the Thai royal family. It's one of the most damning accusations ever leveled at a senior member of the British monarchy. Now, to be clear, Buckingham Palace hasn't responded to these latest allegations, but the timing is brutal. Because right now, Prince Andrew's life as a royal is officially over. Earlier this week, King Charles III formally stripped his brother of all remaining royal titles and ordered him to vacate Royal Lodge, the 30-bedroom mansion Andrew has called home for over 2 decades. The property sits on Windsor Great Park, just a short walk from the castle, and for years it symbolized his refusal to fade away. Not anymore. He's being moved out, forced to downsize to a much smaller property on the king's private Sandringham estate. The options on the table: the garden house or the Folly, 2 cozy cottages usually rented out to tourists as luxury vacation homes. It's royal eviction, plain and simple. For Andrew, this is humiliation on every level. Once His Royal Highness, now he's just Mr. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. No titles, no military roles, no public income. Government ministers now describe him as an ordinary member of the public. His only declared income, a modest £20,000 annual naval pension. That's about $25,000 pocket change compared to the lavish lifestyle he once flaunted. Of course, insiders say he's got a few private investments and hidden reserves from family trusts, but the days of blank checks and palace perks are gone. Even his relocation is being privately funded by King Charles himself. According to insiders, the king is covering Andrew's moving expenses and rent to prevent public backlash. The monarchy is desperate to show that taxpayers aren't footing the bill anymore. Still, not everyone is buying it. Locals near Sandringham told reporters they don't want him there. One resident said, "He's not welcome up here. It's way past time the king acted." That pretty much sums up public sentiment. Across the UK, people have lost patience. For years, Prince Andrew has been the royal family's biggest PR disaster, from his disastrous friendship with Jeffrey Epstein to that infamous 2019 BBC interview where he claimed he couldn't sweat. That single interview might have ended his public life, But this new wave of allegations, it could erase whatever was left of his reputation. Andrew Lownie isn't some random commentator. He's the author of multiple best-selling royal biographies and has spent years researching the inner workings of the Windsor family. His claims carry serious weight. And he didn't stop at Thailand. Lownie also alleges that Andrew regularly blurred the lines between his royal duties and private business. He says the Duke used his royal access to network with billionaires, foreign leaders, and shady investors, often arranging private deals under the guise of official trade visits. In other words, a walking conflict of interest. Lownie told Sarah Vine that Andrew's behavior was an open secret inside royal circles. Staff nicknamed him Airmal's Andy for his endless luxury trips, and one insider said he treated his trade role like a personal dating service. When asked why nobody stopped him, Lownie said there was fear of embarrassing the Queen, fear of political backlash, fear of the media storm that would follow. So, the palace looked the other way. Now that Queen Elizabeth II is gone, that protection has vanished, and Charles isn't playing the same game. Sources close to Buckingham Palace say the king is determined to restore public trust, and that means cutting off anyone who threatens the monarchy's image, even his own brother. Both Queen Camilla and Prince William reportedly supported the eviction plan. William, in particular, is said to have been furious, calling his uncle an embarrassment to the family. Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, who continued living with him at Royal Lodge despite their 1996 divorce, is also being forced out. The two famously called themselves the happiest divorced couple in the world. Well, not anymore. She'll have to make new living arrangements as Andrew moves to Sandringham. It's the end of an era, and the final nail in the coffin of the Duke's royal life. But the scandal goes deeper than just personal disgrace. This is about the monarchy's future. Public opinion polls show that only 7% of Britons believe Andrew should ever return to public life. More than half think he should lose his place in the line of succession altogether. Yet technically, he remains eighth in line to the throne. That fact alone infuriates many citizens. Royal experts say it's time for constitutional reform. If the monarchy wants to survive in a modern democracy, it can't keep clinging to outdated privilege. The Andrew saga has become a symbol of everything critics say is wrong with the institution: entitlement, secrecy, and lack of accountability. And the damage isn't limited to the UK. Internationally, the story has reignited debates about the Commonwealth, colonial ties, and whether taxpayers abroad should fund royal visits at all. Andrew's scandal represents more than a fall from grace. It's a crisis of credibility. The historian Andrew Lownie didn't hold back. In his podcast appearance, he said, "Andrew has brought shame on the entire institution. If necessary, let him face charges, even prison, to prove that justice applies to everyone." That's a bold statement, and it's resonating. For years, critics have accused the royal family of shielding its members from consequences. This time, the tide might be turning. Behind the scenes, royal aides are reportedly working overtime to manage the fallout. Palace communications have gone into lockdown. Charles's team wants the story buried fast, but good luck with that. The internet doesn't forget. Every new leak, every rumor, every resurfaced photo, it all feeds the narrative of a monarchy under pressure. And the truth is, Prince Andrew has become the perfect storm of royal scandal, privilege, power, and self-destruction. Let's not forget, this man once represented Britain on the world stage. He was a war hero from the Falklands conflict, a proud son of the late Queen, and for years, one of her favorites. But somewhere along the line, the royal discipline turned into arrogance. The responsibility became indulgence. When the Epstein scandal broke, Andrew's name was already on thin ice. That disastrous BBC interview, where he claimed he didn't regret his friendship with Epstein because it was convenient for networking, sealed his downfall. The backlash was instant. Charities cut ties. Sponsors backed out. His public role vanished overnight. And yet, through all that, he still had his home, his royal rank, and the quiet support of his mother. Now, those final shields are gone. The eviction from Royal Lodge isn't just a housing shuffle, it's symbolic. That estate was one of the Queen's personal gifts to him, a sign of her enduring loyalty. With her gone, Charles is rewriting the rules. The monarchy of 2025 doesn't have room for freeloaders or scandal magnates. Andrew's new reality? A small country home, limited staff, no public role, and the glare of public shame. Once the guest of kings and presidents, he's now a man without a kingdom. And yet people close to him say he's still in denial. One insider told reporters, he still believes he'll be restored one day. He thinks the public will forgive him. That's unlikely. Britain's media and the internet have long memories. Every time the royal family tries to move forward, a new tour, a charity initiative, a coronation anniversary, Andrew's name drags them back into scandal. Even palace insiders privately admit there's no coming back from this. What's next for him? Some reports say he's considering a low-profile retirement abroad. Others say he'll stay in the UK, living quietly off private income. Either way, the man once known as the Playboy Prince is now just another tabloid cautionary tale. And the most ironic part, Andrew was once the Queen's favorite. Loyal, charming, brave, in uniform, he had it all. But power without accountability always collapses. And for Prince Andrew, that collapse has been public, humiliating, and total. The public no longer sees him as a royal, just another privileged man who thought the rules didn't apply. Maybe that's why King Charles and Prince William are being so firm. They know this isn't just about family. It's about survival of the monarchy, the legacy, and the trust that keeps the crown alive. Because if even a prince can't face consequences, then what's the point of the system at all? As Andrew Lownie said bluntly, if justice means anything, it has to mean everyone. For Prince Andrew, justice has arrived, not through courts, but through consequence. No more immunity, no more palace protection, and no more luxury. Just a long, lonely walk from the grand halls of Windsor to a rented cottage on Sandringham. That's where the story ends. A prince without power, a family without forgiveness, and a monarchy desperate to prove that no one is above the crown. And this time, maybe they mean it.